Guys, it's that time of the year again. It's time for the new Mechanicore kits. This is their Tief Sturmer Plus. So this is a new version that they made here of their Tief Sturmer, which is their take on the Deep Striker. This is now, I believe, in a smaller scale. Their original version is in 1/100 scale, but it was really much larger than that. This one is in, I think, 120 scale, 1 to 120 scale. So that will actually put it more closer to the size of Bandai's Master Grade, being similar size to that. As you can see, this is in a much larger box than Bandai's Master Grade box. So although I suppose that box is pretty big, this one is taller and deeper. Of course, this what we're seeing here is just the outer box for it. This is actually would be a box for two of them in a box together, but I've just got it here. It was just sent to me like this. Let's go ahead and get this opened up. So just in case any of you guys were wondering, I bought this from Samuel Decal, and he uses these nice plastic corner protectors on his kits, which are just nice to have. And once it's out of its shell, it's a very big and very heavy box. Alright, so here on the front of the box we have a just nice big CG render of what the kit is going to look like. There you can see it does have, I'm pretty sure this is a newly redesigned arm there for the radar arm that this has, which I think they've just redesigned it to be a weapon rather than a instrument of radar. Also, the disc radome up over its shoulder is also changed into a missile pod for this version, although I believe it does also still include parts to make the disc radome as well, so you kind of have that option there for that. So just awesome box art here on the front. As always, we have it down here 1 to 120 scale. And then let's go up here to the top of the box. Interestingly, no handle on the box. A lot of times they'll usually have a handle on there. But what we've got here is a top-down look at this. Now this it is available in blue and red. I got the blue version just because my kit of the original version is red, so I figured this one I'll get the blue version. But here on the top of the box it says that this is the strictly limited blue camouflage version for this. Never really been too big of a fan of the camouflage decals that they give with this either, but it comes with them, so anyway, that's just part of it. I guess I should flip this around, and yeah, I just want to stress again that this box is very heavy. And over here we have, this is the pre-order deluxe premium version limited, and they each have their own serial number. Mine is serial number 0123. So this has become a little bit of a tradition between Samuel Decal and myself. I ordered this again from Samuel Decal, and every time he usually saves, if he has one that's like kind of like special serial number, or just one that's kind of a little bit more unique serial number, he'll save that one for me. So thank you to Samuel for that. He actually did it this time without even really like asking me if I wanted that one first. He just said he saved that one for me, so thank you to him for that. Looks like there's a bunch of stuff to see on the back, so we'll come back to that. Let's just check out what's over here on the sides. So on this side it looks like basically just the back view of the kit, and again it's just all just CG renders, but you can see all the LEDs in there as well. Let's turn it back around to the other side, and I'm guessing it's going to be a view from the front. And yep, there it is, slightly off to the side. It's not perfectly symmetrical there, but yeah, just nice kind of front view there of that. I can see tucked up in here in the box there's a little something. I think this is the decals. That is some of these special decals. Interestingly, these are a set of the camouflage decals, but in a kind of just dark gray. So I guess this is just a special, it says camouflage decal privilege special. So I think this is just for maybe the first set of pre-orders. You'll also get all the camo decals here in gray. So that's kind of interesting. Alright, let's check out the back of the box. There's a lot of stuff to see here. So up here in the top corner, we've got a look at the full thing. It also has a completely new redesigned base for this, so that base looks a lot better than the original one. I definitely prefer that. Here you can see a look at that new missile pod that it's got for us. So anyway, it's got up here about the upper body. It says the details of the head are still very clear and marvelous in spite of its relatively small size. Yeah, they say relatively small size. It's still going to be pretty big, but I guess slightly smaller than the previous version. And then a strong pressure of charm is permeated from its plentiful and lavish basic body. Okay, so the English on this is a little bit goofy, but yeah, it's got the cool torso there, the arms, the beam sabers, the lower body there, which is just that whole kind of weird section. Let's go over here to the other side, and this is about the neutron particle long assault cannon, which would be the main cannon there on its back. And then some different shots of that, and some different shots of the backpacks here, backpack parts, and the upper body top view close-up, so just giving you a different view of the upper torso there and the kind of legs, as it were, on them. And then down here, a side rear view there you can see, and it's showing this also has a USB cable out the back, so that's how you're going to power all the LEDs in there. It's just by USB. Also has some LEDs in the base too, which is pretty cool, that kind of blue ring there. And then about the beam trident, so yeah, that radar arm is now turned into the beam trident. So there's some different shots, I guess, of that. Over here we have about the beam rifle, which it does have in there as well to hold in the right arm. And then the cluster missile unit there is what they're calling that bit there that is replacing the radar arm, or the disc radome, I should say. So that has a cool camera array on that, and then the doors open up and you got all the missiles inside there. So it looks pretty cool, I like that. And then the pre-order premium privileges, this would be just the pre-order bonuses. You get the decal sets, that'd be for the blue decals of camouflage decals that should be in the box, as well as the regular decal set, so you have a ton of decals. You have the base, and you have the disc radome. There's just a front and back look at that. So I guess that's just only going to be in this original version, but as far as I know, they don't really do reruns of these kits really, for the most part, except for maybe like the original Tief Sturmer, that they reprinted that in like a different color, in a new blue color later on. But basically it's either you pre-order the kit and get it, or you don't, or you have to get it later. Anyway, they don't like just randomly rerun these like Bandai does over the course of time. So I never really quite understood that, why they say that some is a pre-order premium thing, because they're kind of all like that. But then finally over there's a bit about the central tail stabilizer. That would be kind of the main center part of the backpack. And then just what we got in here, you have ABS, palm plastic, PC plastic, TPU, screw, LED, PVC, a PCB, wires, CNC metal parts, and photo etch. So you have all kinds of stuff in here. Let us delay no further and get this opened up. It's very nice packaging, as always, with these. And if we open this up, we can see this has a box A and a box B inside. Alright, so here's box A. It's got the sticker on it there and the Tief Sturmer thing. And I should have mentioned on the outside of the box, on our serial number sticker, that it did say that it's one of 3,200. So 3,200 of these kits made in total. So your serial number will fall somewhere between there. So mine being 123 out of 3,200 is very early in production. So that's pretty good, I guess. You have to cut this sticker here on the side, I guess, as well. Alright, goodies. So right off the bat, we've got all of our electronic components there for the LEDs and everything, as well as some little metal detail parts, a bunch of those in there. So it all looks pretty good. I gotta say, the quality of them does seem to be looking better with each kit. And then, let's see, this looks like it would be some of our metal parts. So these are in the kind of sprayed gray, it looks like, and then there's our USB cable there, obviously, and a couple of their connecting cables for the LEDs. But these would be some of the metal support parts for this. Obviously, it's a very large, very heavy kit, so you have some of these metal parts in there that will just help support the weight. So that's really nice. That's cool. And here, this runner would be it's just a clear runner, but some of these parts are sprayed with a kind of silver chrome spray on there, so you can see some of those are just pre-painted. You have this big clear blue ring for the base, as well as a couple other clear blue parts there. And then I think it's all just runners and a shitload of runners. It is usually how they package these. If there's anything special like instructions or any other special component parts like that, they'll put them at the top of the box, and then it's just all runners underneath that. So I know there's nothing else in this box other than runners. And we're not going to go through all of the runners for this kit. We're just going to take a look at maybe a couple of them just to kind of check the quality and the details and see how they look. So just opening up this one here right off the bat. This would be simply runner number 35, and I can see the parts are looking kind of glossy, but the feel of them, it does feel pretty good, and I gotta say the edges on them do look pretty sharp. The details do look pretty sharp on them, so I'd say just some sanding, just some basic surface prep for these, and they should be ready to go. Not seeing a lot of flash on these at all, so that is also good. Now obviously I can't speak too much about any fitting issues that might come about, because I'm sure there will be some. These kits are notorious for taking a little bit of patience, let's say, in figuring out some of their fitting issues, some parts being too tight or some parts being too loose. Mostly always usually around the head especially. But aside then from just the mountain of runners inside there, that's pretty much it for box A. So the instructions and other decals and stuff and everything should be in box B. Alright, here we are, box B. Let's get this cut open. What else could be in here? Instructions, decals, the photo etch parts should be in here as well. So let's see. Those are usually packaged together. So there's our instructions and there's our photo etch parts. Yep, and some of this foil, what is that? I don't know. So it looks like pretty much under this packet of stuff, it's just all runners from there. So it's just basically you've got a ton of parts. I can't remember how many parts. They usually will say how many parts in total. I think it's actually in the instruction manual here, so sorry for the noise. We'll find the answer to that in a moment here when we check out the manual. So it looks like in here we've got a couple of small screws, so I'm sure those are probably important, don't want to lose those. And this kind of like foil film, I'm not exactly sure what this is going to be used for, but obviously going to be used for something, I suppose. And then our photo etch parts here, let me give you guys a look at these. So not their most extensive photo etch sheet that I've seen with the Mechanicore kits. Some of them have been a little bit larger, but you've got a handful of them on there, so that'll add for some nice detail added to that. You'll also notice that they're all pre-cut, or that they don't have gates that you have to worry about them. So basically you just peel them off and then just glue them in place. You don't have to worry about cutting and filing the little nub marks on any of the photo etch parts, so that's nice. And then our blue camouflage waterslide decals and some yellow ones on there as well. On the other side is all of the other decals. These are all just the markings, the special Tief Sturmer markings there, which is a Task A, which would be a reference to Task Force Alpha, Project 0033. And so these markings I'm not really all that keen on, to be honest. I probably won't use a lot of these. I'll try to get some actual like Deep Striker logo markings for this, but there's a whole bunch of those, and there's a ton of just regular caution markings down here as well, in red and white mostly. There's some in gray there as well, so you have a ton of decals for this. And then we have the instruction booklet, which is pretty much more of like a magazine. Here, let's see, it is how many pages in total? 50 pages in all, so this is going to be pretty extensive. It's printed all in color and all on this pretty nice stock of paper, so it feels good. On the back here is where it will give us some of the stats on the kit. Now let me see if I can read this here if I can. The overall height is going to be around 45.5 centimeters, so very tall. Overall length is going to be around 70 centimeters, so very long as well. Let's see, where's the total number of parts here? Plastic injection parts is 2,130 pieces, so that would be just all the plastic parts. Then you have, of course, the handful of metal parts, all the LEDs and photo etch and all that other stuff you're going to be using as well. So over 2,000, well over 2,000 parts for this thing. So yeah, it's pretty extensive. So at the beginning of the manual, here is our parts list. We've just got runners and runners. Let's see, this will give us how many runners here? 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. 58, 59 runners, so almost 60 runners of parts here for this. And then here's a layout of all of the LEDs and little metal parts and everything that you're going to be getting in here as well, so you can check all of that. Also includes just the parts list of just the decals and the manual, all of that there, and then it's just on to the construction. So while the manual is in color, most of the instructions it's all just line art, but you can see there is colored lines for the steps. So if you have first step, then you have a second step and third step. Those are indicated by the color of the lines. You also have a pretty clear layout as to where the wiring goes for the LEDs in here as well. As you can see, we're building the base first, and then the lower part of the torso, or the kind of waist section front of the waist section is going to be next. You can see how the LED wires are going to fit all into there. So this should be pretty fun, I gotta say. While it looks like it's going to be a pretty difficult build, a pretty fun one I'm thinking. But I suppose we also should take a look at this. Here at the back of the manual is the decal application. So we have a layout of where all the decals are going to go to show you where all like the big main ones go. And I think you can get an idea of where all the camouflage decals go on here as well, around on all the parts and all the parts and all of the parts and the base as well. So there's the layout for all that stuff. So quickly take a look at another one of the runners here. Obviously some internal parts and parts for some thrusters there, it looks like, or some kind of engine parts sort of. And as you can see, the detail on them does look pretty nice, but it's all just halves. So you'll have two halves sandwiched together, which means you'll have seam lines on all these parts. Now, how much of that you really want to bother with and how much is going to maybe be covered up by other parts, or just kind of it makes sense to be a sort of panel line instead of a seam line, I'm not sure yet, but obviously you will have to do some work with this kit either way. So that is going to pretty much do it for the Tief Sturmer Plus unboxing. As usual, I don't have any plans to actually build this right away, although it is very tempting, I must say. If you guys remember back to the beginning of the year, I did mention that I wanted to start working on a Mechanicore kit this year, and the year is running out, but I am still holding out hope that I'll maybe start working on one of them. I'm not sure if it's going to be this one. I wanted to start with one of the other ones, like possibly the Cassis, but I don't know. I might just start with this one since it's the newest one, and then work my way backwards over the course of my entire lifetime. But for now, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll start with this, maybe? I don't know. Possibly. I'll have to think about that. In the meantime, guys, if you have any other further questions or comments about this, feel free to leave those down below. It's a pretty awesome kit, and for now, it's going to make for a pretty awesome coffee table. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.